No, everything has just become fucking absolutes in the States. It's fucking nuts. Like that Colin Kaepernick guy, right? You knew when he was like protesting during the national anthem, no one was gonna listen to what the fuck he had to say. No matter how much he explained it. He goes, I'm taking a knee during the national anthem. This is a protest about police brutality, the way people of color are treated. We'd like to open a dialogue. He got about halfway through that. People are like, my brother's fighting in Iraq, you fucking piece of shit! It's just like, buddy. Nobody is saying your brother isn't in Iraq fighting. You're not listening. This is about police brutality. My brother's a firefighter. He watched 9/11 on television. No. Nobody's saying that your brother's not a firefighter. I got a bone spur in my heel. I can still stand up during the fucking song. Buddy, nobody is saying you can't see a fucking podiatrist. All right? You're not listening. That's what it became. You ever try to get abs? You ever try to get all the abs and get that shit down here? You ever try to do it? It's fucking impossible. Past the age of 19, you can't do it without tons of help. You gotta buy all these exercise tapes. You gotta read about nutrition. You gotta get a personal trainer having you fucking running along. You need like your own chef, and he's like, okay, don't eat it yet. Don't eat it yet. All right, now, eat it. Start consuming it. All right, stop. Slow down, stop. Spit it out. Spit it out. I told you to stop. Get on the elliptical. Now you like that Brussels sprout? Did you like that Brussels sprout? Because now you're paying for it. It's a fucking miserable experience. Just walking around, your whole body's eating yourself. You know, you want some cake? No, just take a salad. Balsamic vinaigrette on the side, no croutons. Oh my God, when is the photo shoot? I want to kill myself. It's horrible. You ever try to get fat? No, you don't have to. It's effortless. You can fucking lay on your back, watching your favorite show, just shoveling shit down your throat. What are you doing? I'm getting fat. I'm getting fat. You got a trainer? Don't need one. It's natural. I just eat everything that makes my sugar salt go like, yeah, woo, yeah. Comes right in. Nice roll of fucking flab.
Oh my God, my cheeks hurt. Welcome to Mika Reaction Reviews, where we reacting to things on the internet. And today we are reacting to the best of Bill Burr, according to the person who uploaded this video anyway onto YouTube. I agree with him that all sides of the political ideology goes to their extremes, and a lot of people are quite black and white and not very binary in their thinking and lack of nuance. But I think that goes on both sides. I mean, I don't like Colin Kaepernick, and I don't think he gave a crap about Black lives. I think he was an opportunist who thought this was an opportunity to get publicity for himself. However, I can understand the argument of saying like, hey, this isn't about, you know, soldiers or veterans or America or patriotism or anything like that. This is just taking a stance on, this is about police brutality. Even though I don't really understand how kneeling on the American flag is about police brutality. Like, police officers aren't soldiers. They don't, like, you know, they're not the pinnacle of the representation of America. But I also understand the other side of the aisle where people felt like it was disrespectful to America, and the people who fought for our freedoms and stuff like that. The freedom that gave Colin Kaepernick the right to bend the knee. But anyway, I get what he's saying, and the whole like lower ab thing, yeah, is impossible. I stopped trying that a long time ago. Not that I ever wanted a six-pack, but you know, you get that, especially if you're a woman, you get that very lower belly pooch or whatever, and you really can't get rid of it unless you absolutely starve yourself. Even though I literally have fantasies of having a drill surgeon like yell at my ear and tell me to do more push-ups. I love that shit. And the reason why no one tries to get fat, because nobody wants to be fat. No one sees an overweight person and goes, hashtag goals. Like, no one does that. This takes no effort. No one wants to be fat. Even the fat people that keep saying they want to be fat. I think people just get used to their bodies and comfortable in the body that they have instead of making any effort. But anyway, let's get back into it.
I didn't come from a family. I don't know about you guys. I didn't come from a touchy-feely. Call me when you get there. None of that shit. First time my mom hugged me, I think it was like once when I was little, and then when I moved out, that was it. And we only hugged because we knew we were supposed to. So we just tried to like, it was like 2 parking meters came to life. Like, we almost bumped heads. It was horrific. Fucking horrific. you know, to this day, sometimes I drive down the street and I think about that hug, and it's just so it's so awful. I have to like shout the memory out of my head. I'll just be driving down the street, just be like, ah! Ah! Anybody else like that? You ever have to like shout stuff out of your head? Like there's something about me, like all my regret comes up when I'm in the shower. I don't know what it is. I think because I'm in the shower and I have time to think. And I'll just think of shit I did in like 3rd grade, where I just made an ass of myself, and I just will be in the shower just being like, ah, ah. And my wife's always just like, is everything okay in there? And I'll just be like, yeah, just accidentally turn on the hot water. Turn it on too much. Every day? So. Yeah. I actually asked my mother one time when I finally got out in the world and I saw how other families interacted. I finally asked her one day, I was like, how come we never did the hugging thing? You know what I mean? How come we didn't do that stuff? She's like, well, I wanted to hug you kids when you were little, but I was afraid it was going to make you gay. And I was like, you were afraid? You were afraid? And then she goes, well, it was your father. That's what it was. Protecting him like I always do. He was afraid. He said, you don't know how to raise boys. And if you hug them, that's what's going to happen. So in a marriage, there's compromises. So. Yeah. So she basically never hugged us because my dad said if she did, it was going to make us gay. And I got to tell you, that was a great thing that my dad did for me. Let me finish before you start blogging, okay? And I end up on a split screen on Good Morning Atlanta, you know? Comedy, can it go too far? Last night was a tabernacle. Sitting there next to some fucking Cheeto-eating blogger.
All right, stop right there before he gets to defending his dear old dad. I have to say that my fathers were the same. Not that I had 2 dads. Like, I didn't have a gay parents. Nothing wrong with that. I just didn't have gay parents. But I had, like, an adopted dad, and I had, like, a biological father, and I had a stepdad when I was younger. Yeah. But anyway, I feel like they were all the same because all of them were like old school black dads. And if you don't know this, if you're unaware of this, homophobia runs rampant in the black community. And so they had the homophobia on their side, but they also had that old school sort of like boys do this and girls do that, and you interact with boys and girls differently. And so yeah, my dads were exactly the same. And even like my biological father now, he like treats me and my brother differently. Like he's a little bit more lenient on me, harder on my brother. Because he's like, he's a man and you have to be harder on boys because they're the man. And so that can be really hard on guys. Some guys love, like I had an ex-boyfriend who's Italian. He was like, his father never said he loved him, never showed him an affection, but he knew his father loved the family because his father worked really hard for the family. So as he grew up, he understood that, but not every sibling understood that. So kids are different. Some people will grow up and understand, like my dad loved me, he just loved me in this way, he showed it in this way. And some people are really damaged by it. And I myself have plenty of bad childhood memories, so I do the screamy memory out of my head all the time. But what I think he was talking about was like, you know, like when you're at a party or something and you say something really stupid and it's awkward and everybody just kind of moves on to the next conversation, and then like a year later you remember it and you just like cringe and you wish you could like go back and like say something better. Yeah, I think we've all been there. Very, 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 very relatable. Very relatable. Anyway, let's continue.
So, yeah, this is the deal. I'm going to defend my dad here because this is basically what happens when you have a kid. As far as I know, I don't have any kids, but as far as I would think, if you have a fucking kid, what do you want to do? You want to improve on your childhood, okay? You want to keep the shit that your parents did that worked, and then you want to get rid of the stuff that didn't work. So that was my dad, as fucked up as that was his improvement on his childhood that he never talks about, the way a veteran doesn't talk about going to war, you know? So I figure if that was his improvement on his childhood just must have been something like, don't change his shitty diaper. Let him figure it out for himself. Get out in the rain, you shitty baby. Hey, let me handle this, lady. Why are you still standing here, you shit toddler? So, he took it from that and knocked it down to, don't hug him, it's gonna make him gay, right? And then maybe someday I have a kid, I'll whittle it down to like, hey, he's not taking drama class, all right? He's not taking drama class because I said so, lady. Let me handle it. I won't fix everything. Yeah, and that's not a homophobic thing either, that I wouldn't send my hypothetical son to drama class, okay? It isn't. I'd let my hypothetical daughter take a drama class, okay? My son can't fucking do any of that shit unless I'm sending him to one of those fame high schools, you know, where everybody's doing it. One of those creative schools. You go to the cafeteria, everybody's like, cottage cheese, what is it made of? Right? Like, then he can do all he wants. Then he can do all the fuck he wants.
Okay, guys, that was Bill Burr. I don't know if that was the best of him. Netflix put this together. It's probably the least controversial of the best of Bill Burr. But I like what he did at the end there with his dad, and that's what I was talking about. As you get older, you humanize your parents. Because like when you're younger, they're your parents. They're just mom and dad. They have no identity outside of that, and you expect them to be perfect mom and dad. And then you grow up and you realize that they are human beings, and a lot of times, especially if they have you when you're young, they're growing up while raising you, and they're flawed, and they have all their shit they're going through that you didn't see behind the scenes, and so you kind of try to forgive their flaws by looking at them as a human being. However, that doesn't mean that, you know, parents can get away with just abusing their kids left and right? They have to answer to those things. And sometimes parents do approve on their childhood, right? They raise their kids a little bit better than they were as kids, but sometimes parents just repeat the fucking cycle. But anyway, guys, tell me what you think of this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, travel as a lifestyle, or another great way to support the channel is to join my brand new membership program below. And also in the comment section, hit my brand new merch shop. Go subscribe to the travel vlog channel. And or follow me on my Instagram, my socials, including my Twitter, all the ways to support. And I also have my other ways to contact me for business is always in the links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel. Sorry about the freaking construction that just started in the middle of my outro. You guys have an amazing day.